Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I usually avoid doing this. Baseball is the one sport where you're still going to lose even the best teams 60, 70 times throughout the course of a season. You're going to have some bad losses. You're going to have some losses that you wish you could take back. Some results are going to end up on that list of games that you lost, but you should have won those ones. I know. 162 games, you're bound to have a handful of bad days at the office. And you don't necessarily jump on a team if at the end of the season they win 95 games. You don't get on them for those handful of games that are a part of the 70 that they may lose throughout the course of the season. But I'm going to tell you, you cannot lose a game this weekend. You welcome in a 7-win baseball team this weekend. 7. Not a typo. Not a misprint. I did not misspeak. The Colorado Rockies have won 7 games. I have a best friend from Colorado, is a Rockies fan. He is being trolled in the group chat. We are giving him a hard time about how bad his baseball team is. And in that group chat, this statistic was shared to me. This 7-36 record that the Rockies have is the worst in Major League Baseball's modern era. So since 1900, this is the worst start to a season ever. It is tied with the 1895 Louisville Colonels for the second worst all time, and they're only a game better than the 1884 Kansas City Cowboys and the 1876 Cincinnati Reds. That's the company that the Colorado Rockies, who are coming to town to have a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks this weekend, that is the history that they are carrying with them. One of the worst baseball teams in the history of the sport. Their plane has gotten here to Chase Field to Phoenix to take on this 3-game series. I'm sorry, you cannot lose a single game this weekend. You have to hand a sweep to this team. Get the brooms out and send the Colorado Rockies back to Denver. Send them back with 3 more losses in their back pocket. There are 0 excuses. You have Corbin Burns. You have Zach Gallen. You have Merrill Kelly all going this weekend. If you had to pick the 3 pitchers that you would want to start these games, these are the 3 guys that you would select. There are no questions in my mind. Oh, well, what if they just took 2 out of 3? No. You just went through a 16-game stretch and faced a who's who of teams in the National League. You faced the Dodgers, you faced the Giants, 2 of your direct competition against in the NL West. You took on the Mets, you took on the Phillies, teams in the National League East that you may be competing with for a wild card spot. You went up against a who's who of the National League, and you survived. You didn't thrive, but you didn't completely bury yourself. You didn't tank your season. You went 8-8, and you got through it. We'll touch on this a little bit more in the program. And my guess is some of the takes here on the show for a Take Friday are going to be Diamondbacks related. But there's a 15-game stretch that starts tonight that is way more favorable than the 16 games that this team just went through. And it starts with this 3-game series. If you want to unwind yourself from this conversation of being a middle-of-the-road, mediocre, inconsistent, hovering around 500 baseball team, if you want to change that narrative, you change that narrative by beating up on bad baseball teams. And not just any bad baseball team. How about the worst baseball team through the first 43 games of a season in the modern era of the game of baseball? 0 excuses. I don't care if the bullpen blows a game over this weekend. I do not care. Win the dang baseball games. Be 3-0 when we come in here on Monday. You need to start this 15-game stretch where you're supposed to get fat. Your record is supposed to get more healthy. You're supposed to have a record that more reflects what we think of you as a baseball team. Put 3 more wins in the win column. I get it. It's baseball. You lose games that you're not supposed to lose. It happens. We are football brained, and that has leaked into other sports where losses are viewed as this end of the world. You play 162 games of baseball. You are not going to play your best every single day. You are going to play some days where it looks like you are a little league team playing baseball. Happens all the time. Can't happen this weekend. Can happen against the Dodgers. It can happen against the Giants. It can happen against a good baseball team. You don't want it to happen, but I would much rather accept it there than this is where you have to gain games. This is where you have to strengthen your record. You have done a decent job keeping yourself afloat. You have done a decent job not torpedoing your season. They could have very easily lost a bunch more games. They could have lost more to the Dodgers. They could have lost this series to the Giants. You're coming off a series win in San Francisco against the team directly in front of you in the standings. That's the mark of a good baseball team. You know what's also the mark of a good baseball team? At home, sleeping in their own bed, playing in front of their own home crowd, beating up a team that has 7 wins this season. I think I can put together a baseball team of 9 people from this building, and we might win more games than the Colorado Rockies have so far. You gave us 43 chances. We could go play a rec softball league and win more than 7 games. I'll just pull people from different departments, and we'll play baseball, softball. 7-36 is how the Colorado Rockies come into this series. They have fired their manager already. And since firing their manager, it has not gotten any better. This is a bad baseball team, and this is a perfect scenario for the Diamondbacks to get their season on a good track. You've just been plotting along, trotting along, just staying afloat. Now it's time to push the pedal to the metal and make some noise that we know this team is capable of. Might get Justin Martinez back this weekend. The pitching matchup set up really well for you. You just took 2 out of 3 from the Giants, excuse me. I mean, I don't know if you can set up any better for this environment. Bad team, you're set up well pitching-wise. You might be getting healthy in the bullpen. You just took a really good series from a San Francisco team. What more can you ask for? What more could you need right now than a nice, healthy sweep of a bad baseball team in Colorado to get your season back on track? Am I too harsh today on a Friday, Producer Evan? Is that too? I mean, I'm sorry, but there are some times where you circle the series and you say you just have to sweep that team. You have to sweep the Colorado Rockies this weekend.
No, and we'll get into it in an hour or two of the show, but I think you look at this next 15-game stretch as, I don't want to say make or break, but this is certainly your biggest opportunity all season when you look at the schedule to gain ground and make up room in a tight division. There's one team in your division you have the chance to beat up on, right? Because
the only one.
The Giants are good.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Dodgers, Padres are good. This is the only team that you get to play enough all year that you can take the town. You can beat them up. You have to do it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You and I play in the same division. Every time you play the Marlins, you look at it as that opportunity, and our teams seem to struggle against the Marlins, but you look at those series and say, hey, that's where you gain ground. And if the Diamondbacks don't gain ground in this series and they don't take 3, I mean, that's a problem.
What am I supposed to do on Monday if they lose 2 out of 3 of this series? What am I supposed to do on Monday if they
lose 2 out of 3, I'm hanging the done chain on them.
You're going to come in here on Monday and you're going to say they're done.
If you lose 2 or 3 to the Rockies?
If you lose 1 out of 3 to the Rockies?
It's not over, but it's certainly, you're in a bad spot.
You probably look at it as you missed a chance.
I don't want to do the show before the show.
That's okay. We do it all the time.
But like looking at these 15 games, and we're going to talk about them in an hour or two again. I mean, you circle a number. It's high. These next 15
right.
that you have to win.
You're circling series, and you're saying, okay, we have not played our best, right? Everybody can admit it. We have not played our best. There's a bunch of different factors for that. We haven't been healthy. We had a bit of a slow start with our rotation. Our bullpen has been just a mess for a whole bunch of different reasons. Okay, you played a tough schedule. Fine. All of those things are legitimate reasons why this team is hovering around 500. I can't give you those legitimate reasons if you struggle against the Rockies, if you struggle against the Padres, if you struggle against the Nationals who come up on the schedule for you. And again, not to do the show before the show, But this is why you circle a series like this weekend and say, you're home. There's no excuse of being on the road. There's no excuse of, you're facing the back part of our rotation. Burns, Gallen, Kelly. You just took 2 out of 3 from San Francisco. So you're coming in playing good ball. 0 excuses available. I'm sorry, none.
And I'm not calling the Washington Nationals the Colorado Rockies because they're not. Because they have pieces I like. James Wood's a good player. Mackenzie Gore's a good player. They have pieces in Washington. But you've already lost your opportunity when you played them before.
Yep.
You cannot do it again. You have to take 2 or 3 in that series. And Washington's good enough where they could catch 1. But if you don't win that series, man, you start asking questions.
Yeah.
You lost the Nationals twice.
You start wondering, is it worth the agita that it is every single night? Or is this team telling us who they are? I'm sure I'll still get the it's early on Monday if they don't sweep this year. Chris, it's early. Easy. Early.
It's almost June. It's not that early.
It's Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the well understood demarcation point for baseball. Just wait for Memorial Day is what you hear all the time. Check in Memorial Day, see where your team's at. Okay, but I'm going to hold you to that. When we get to Memorial Day, let's see where this team's at because it includes a nice stretch right now where they're supposed to get fat with their schedule. Do they take advantage? Again, not to do the show before the show, but